Good day on this video. Today we have another episode of the daily task guides, and today it's the daily task easy task for tanks. So once again, like the last one, if you've been watching the respective episodes or if you're just new to this, essentially I talk about all the different tasks that are available in the game, and we just go over them and really talk about them and just explain how to do them, my personal advice on how to do them, and overall things like that really. Now before I begin, as you'll notice in the top left, obviously if you've watched the previous episode you know this, but I'm going to repeat it again in case anyone just wants to jump into this video. The asterisk means the task got slightly harder, and the plus sign means the task got easier. Once again, this is another one where there's just one easier one. And that pretty much just means the task can be a little bit more tricky, but like, for these easy ones it really isn't. But when you get to things like the special tasks, which I'll cover in, obviously when we get around to those videos, I'll obviously talk about those. Final thing, in the description below there is a link to some timestamps for each individual task, where it obviously covers it in a bit more detail, and there's also a link to the Discord server respectively. I hope that clears everything up, and on that note, let's get started. So, tank RP easy task, Tiger. Play a battle destroying required number of enemy tanks, 2 or more ground vehicles in 2 games. This used to be just one tank, so you could kill one tank, leave the match, and then kill another in another match, and then done. Pretty much as simple as that. This was pretty easy to do, and they upped it to 2 because clearly they knew I was doing it a lot, because I like this task. This can pretty much be done in anything you like, but my personal suggestions are the T-34 1941, Panzer IV-G, M4 Sherman, M10, Achilles, etc. Pretty much anything that can kill quite consistently. And yeah, that is pretty much the way to do this. You could also do this in planes if you're not as comfortable in tanks. You can get a cap and then jump in a plane if you want. You can do that. It's really down to you. But as I said, as long as you meet the requirement of 2 kills a match, which pretty much anyone can do that, and you do it in 2 different games, you're pretty much golden. Nothing really to elaborate on that one. Next up is Vigilante, which did get a little bit more trickier because it used to be 3 assists, if memory serves me correctly. This requires you to get 5 assists, and this is pretty simple. British tanks are pretty good for this, Matilda, Cromwell, Crusader, etc. This is more of a task that you focus on critting and not killing. In other words, go for the gunner, go for the gun breach, just make sure that the opponent cannot fight back, and then, of course, just wait for your team to shoot them in the face. Alternatively, you can use a plane and just shoot their tracks over and over, and that actually does count for this. And it's pretty easy, actually. And even with light machine guns on a plane, you can actually damage their track and still get an assist for it. Quite convenient and very useful if you need to. Next up is Scout. Get the intelligence streak. I'm sure some War Thunder players could use the intelligence on its own, but we'll gloss over that. Required number of times. Intelligence 1 streak, 1 game. Pretty much all you do is scout a target and just wait for them to die. You can use any variety of light tank. It must be a light tank. There are some exceptions with some vehicles, but those tend to be more in the higher tiers. But the Crusader, the Puma, which is the 234 up there, it's just easy to call it the Puma, I'm not repeating that 1,000 times, and the T50 are all pretty solid vehicles for this. Just make sure to not kill the target that you're looking at, because that would be a bit stupid, because you'd just be awarded a kill. You're trying to get a intelligence streak, not kills. Next is at the top. Play required number of battles taken place in a team, place 1 to 4, just 1 game. This is more of one that you need to be a bit more consistent with. And it's pretty much just play what you feel comfortable with. Focus on caps, casts, anti-casts, getting just general kills. And this is pretty much doable in the lineups that I've set there. There will be videos in the future, by the way, that go over lineups and things like that for tasks and things like that. But that won't be coming for a little while. I want to get the rest of these done, and then I'll work on those. But as I say here, 4.0 to 3.7 Russia, 3.3 Germany, 3.3 America, all pretty solid options. They all have good vehicles, good consistency, and are just very good for this sort of task. Just make sure you stay in the top 4 slots. Don't be a dick and team kill someone who's about to beat your points. I've seen that before. Don't do it. That's just being a prick. We don't need any more people doing that. But pretty much as simple as just assemble the lineup and just play until you get it. It's as simple as that. And if you're a decent enough player, you should have this done within no time at all. Next is Bullseye. Get a required number of critical hits, 10 critical hits. This used to be 5, so it's pretty much doubled. Same as with assists, British tanks are good for this. Also try tanks with low explosive filler, such as T50. I say low explosive filler, it's actually got pretty good explosive filler, but if you aim poorly, it won't be enough to get a kill, but you get my point. So with this is pretty much just shoot the gunner in every tank you meet, and you will get this. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it's a task that really is just what it says on the tin, really. You can get this done with little issue by just playing normally. Any crits you get in a plane or on an enemy plane also count towards this, so do that as well. Next is Out of the Ordinary. Win required number of battles with the total amount of tank rescue streaks received in every battle being greater than or equal to 1 victory. Now this does require you to win this, but pretty much all this is if your teammate gets hit and survives, you just shoot the guy who hit them. Pretty simple. Once you've done, well, you just shoot and kill. You have to kill him. And you preferably want to use something with decent armor or a decent gun, because then you can potentially bounce a return shot from them if they're a fast reloading tank. And if you're struggling with this, your teammate can always drive the heavy tank, like the KV-1. The KV-1 is perfect for this. And then you can bring something like a T-34 1942 and just clap whoever's looking at you. But this does require you to win, so do not just focus on the task. You need to focus on other things. You'll probably get this without you even realising it. But like I say, focus on the win, help your team, and you should be golden for this. Next is Tactical Efficiency. Destroy player vehicles using a light or medium tank. 3 kills. And this is pretty simple. Any medium to light tank can do this, and, well, there's a few suggestions there. Panzer IV-G, T-34 1941/42, M4 Sherman, and for light tanks, the M24 Sherman, M24 Sherman. I don't know why I said that. The Puma and the T50. These are all pretty solid vehicles. That tells you my brain's not awake when I said M24 Sherman. I bet you there's going to be a Photoshop of that now. But you get my point. This is pretty simple, and you can get this done by just playing normally. A lot of these tasks you really can, and it just is really easy, which is the whole point of them being easy tasks. Now, next up is a little bit one that can be a little bit more tricky, the Pioneer task. Get a series of capture streak required number of times. Base capture streak times 2, 1 streak. Something fast does this pretty simply. So you'd need something like a light tank like the 234-2, the T50, ACAA Mark II. I love doing it in that because you can clap Pumas. But all you have to do is just get 2 caps in a match. Pretty much that. And it's not that difficult. Can be a little bit tricky on some game modes, but well, what I mean by some game modes is the type of the map. So like battle, domination, not domination, conquest. That can be a little bit more tricky, but even so, you're probably not going to get this done in your first match. It depends on the actual matchmaker. But don't worry, because this is really simple. You can do this anytime you like. Next is Activist. Win required number of battles with needed activity percent. 80% or more activity. All I'll say is avoid Germany like the plague, because whenever you try to get wins and you try and play Germany, they don't tend to know what the word win is. Trust me, I went 12 straight losses with Germany once in Ground RB at 4-0 trying to do an event. Not fun. I got everything done in the event, bar the wins, so that tells you. All I'd say is just play USA and Russia for this, because they tend to be pretty consistent, and more so the Russians at around 4037, because they pretty much have some of the best armor you can ask for. They have decent guns, and they're also pretty fast for their tanks, so pretty much just as simple as that. Next is Firepower. Destroy player vehicles using an SPG. 2 kills. M10, SU-122, because why the hell not? Achilles, PVKV-3 if spaded. That is the key word. That tank sucks stock. But there's a lot of tank destroyers that you can really use, and heck, if you want to, you can even do this in what's it called? Um the Chiha long gun I think can do this task as well. And that thing's incredibly fun because it's a naval gun on a freaking Chiha, and you just pull the trigger and something dies. It's very satisfying. Like I say, pretty much just pick the SPG you want. I know it says SPG, it means tank destroyer slash self-propelled gun. Just pretty much pick what you like, and you'll have this done within a game or two. Next is Slow But Sure. Destroy player vehicles using a heavy tank. 2 kills. There is really only one candidate for this, the KV-1 L11, because it's pretty solid. The other option is for a rank 2 vehicle, that is the Matilda, but I find the Matilda to be a bit of a glass cannon. I know it's got the same armor profile as the KV-1, but the problem is that you tend to face more guns that can kill you in the Matilda than you do the KV-1, because the KV-1 tends to be paired with Germany a lot. So I tend to take the KV-1 because of that. So that's really why I only suggest the KV-1 L11 for this. Next is Happy Ending. When required over battles for 50% or more activity. Same as with the activist one, avoid Germany like the bloody plague. USA and Russia pretty much will get this done. You can also bring along Japan because they sometimes fight the Germans, and that's pretty fun. Depends on the lineup you play though. But like I say, just avoid the Germans and you'll be fine for this. Next is One Step Ahead. Get the according to intelligence streak required number of times. 1 streak. So this is a little bit different to Scout. So this is where a teammate scouts the target for you and you shoot it. A little bit different, but yeah. If you're struggling with this, you're more than welcome to join the Discord server that I mentioned at the beginning. If you skipped ahead, then, well, I'm mentioning it now. And we'll be more than happy to help you out with this task. So please do feel free to do so. And like I said, that you scout, well, they scout, you shoot it. Simple as that. Really no further explanation needed. Next is Triumphator. When a battle taking required place in the team, place 1 to 6, 1 victory. Consistency and good teamwork make the difference. Use a lineup that suits you and focus on winning. So pretty much as I said, avoid Germany for this one. And focus on getting consistency and things like that. Like I said with the at the top task. You just pretty much just get the kills, get the caps, anti-cass, cass, regular cass, like just kill enemy tanks for your plane. Things like that, really, and just focus on doing that. It's really not that difficult. And I'll be honest, it's not too hard because you just need to get 1 to 6, and 1 to 6 is a lot easier than 1 to 4, is all I'll say. Next is Unexpected Threat. Destroy player vehicles using an SPAA, 1 kill. This can be on either planes or tanks. You just need to kill them with an SPAA. So I listed a few SPAA that I would take to do this. The M16, the ACAA Mark II, I love using that to collapse some Pumas, the SD KFC 6.2, and the ZIS 1294 KM. Like I said, the best one out of that lot is the KM, the ZIS 12 truck. It's just better for that. It is a little bit high BR, so you can take the, what's it called? The one with the single gun on it. I never remember its name. The 72k Gaz, that's it. That is pretty solid for that as well. It's a little bit lower BR and it's got the same gun, just only one of them. And it's just as fast. So yeah, pretty much just take anything on that list and you'll have this done. Next is Ground Superiority. Play required number of battles where any of the streaks from the list have been received. And again, I'm not going to get bored of this one. Heavy Metal Hero, Survivor, Mission Maker, Punisher, Wingman, Heavy Metal Fury, Bulletproof Balancer, and on hand 1 game. You don't need to win this. Now, this is actually where I'm going to say play Germany, because a lot of the guns in Germany can pretty much crack anything you meet, and they tend to one-shot a lot of the time. So focus on Heavy Metal Hero / Fury. These just focus on the kills here, and obviously Cass is useful for this, so just bear that in mind. And Germany has pretty good Cass at around 3037, so you can definitely use a lot of that Cass if you want. You can also use things like the Panzer IV-G, which is an excellent tank, and pretty much this is just kill as many things as you can sort of territory. You might not get this on your first game, but you're guaranteed to get it within the first couple. Let's put it that way. Next is turret to turret. When required in battles, getting teamwork or supporting fire in each of them. One victory, getting either, or it doesn't really matter. So this is where you need to stay near your squad mate to do this, and, well, all those squad mates are not to be relied upon. As I say, you're more than welcome to join my Discord server if you want with this task. It's pretty simple. You pretty much just stay near your teammate, and sometimes you can get this done with the auto squad mate, but I wouldn't rely on it. So try to expand your friend group and things like that. And as I say, my community is very welcoming. We always welcome everyone. So please do feel free to drop by, and we will gladly help you out. There's only a few more tasks left. There's 2 more to go, and these are the last 2. Set to work, get the help with repairing the street required number of times. This just requires you to repair your teammate once. You can do this in any vehicle, you just need to repair your teammate, and that's pretty much it. Stay near your team, just help repair them, even if it costs you a vehicle, it doesn't matter. Or you can use an exploit where you take a squad mate, you put their engine in water, wait till the engine breaks, and then repair them, tow them out, and then on you go. You're done. That's that task done. It's very simple. I might even do it like a short video just to explain what I mean by that. If you want to see that, do let me know in the comments. And finally, we have Bird Hunt. Destroy enemy aircraft in combined battles, 1 kill. Pretty much, as I say, you can use any of the SPAs I mentioned earlier, the M16, the ACAA Mark II, the SDKFC 2 or 6.2 to ZIS 12, and the 72k Gaz. You can just use anything you want, really, just down a plane and that's it. Obviously, any plane that's good for anti-cast, like Yaks, 109s, etc. Even some of the early Cannon-armed Spitfires are pretty good for this. So, like I say, just pick something that works for you, and that's pretty much it. But like I say, that is the end of the Tank RB easy tasks. Obviously, we'll be moving on to the medium tasks for each type, and then we'll move on to the specials. Expect those videos to come out over time. They're not obviously going to be done immediately because they're not a huge priority at the moment. I have got some other projects in the works, one of which is done, which I'm sure you'll all enjoy in the future. Anywho, I'll leave you all to it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing these 10 easy tasks explained, and obviously please do tune in to the rest of the playlist, because this will be a playlist eventually. Well, in a playlist I should say. And of course, tune in for the rest if you're watching the channel as these videos release, and I'm sure you'll learn something. Anyway, I'll leave you all to it for today, and I'll see you all on the next one.